We're talking about a non-violent demonstration.
This is not how Jody Betzine and others from the socialist youth organisation Resistance wanted to make their point. They weren't even there when the violence erupted outside the Crown Complex. Hours earlier, just before 5:30 this morning, the part-time waiter emerged from a house.
I'm excited. I mean, it's been a lot of work and it's been a long...
Police were in position to guard the complex, which had been ringed by concrete barricades and steel fencing.
Pretty miserable start. Well, you know, you can't control the weather, so you think there's a conspiracy going on.
So what's the plan from here now?
Well, the marshals are sussing out where we're going to head from this road, but clearly this is not really where the blockade's going to be happening.
A bus became a target when it reached a line of protesters and tensions rose.
And let me tell you that the eyes of the world are on Melbourne, not because of the World Economic Forum, but because of S11.
Not shot over these people if you're ordered to? Do you think that you will? I certainly hope not. These people are acting on behalf of Bill Gates, not on behalf of the Australian government. I think we should give them some chance. People united! People united!
Protesters and police clash at the World Economic Forum. Rolling out the barrels, but not enough for a fuel price.
These are the scenes organisers of this week's World Economic Forum had hoped to avoid. What began as a peaceful demonstration against globalisation soon turned violent as protesters surrounded Melbourne's casino. As police tried to break up the blockade, angry protesters pounced on a car carrying Western Australian Premier Richard Court, hurling paint and abuse.
My brothers and sisters in Northern Territory and Western Australia!
When they refused to let the car through, police moved in. Several people were injured in the scuffles, although there were just 2 arrests.
I mean, it's very un-Australian. In fact, it's very sad for this.
I think it's been appalling that they've disrupted...
Organisers to ferry delegates in by helicopter and boat. The Prime Minister is due to address the forum tonight, prompting...
Good evening and welcome to Sunline.
Soccer tragedy was in 1971 when 66 Rangers supporters perished on these steps at Ibrox Park, Glasgow.
The Bureau of Air Safety is investigating at least 7 potentially disastrous incidents over Sydney in the past few days. The news comes as air traffic controllers continue to impose overtime bans.
Air traffic controllers say such a large number of safety breaches in such a short time span is unprecedented in Australian aviation history. Most of them happened on Friday. Indeed, there were 5 separate unauthorised penetrations of controlled airspace reported in just 1 hour on Friday afternoon. 2 of those were by RAAF Hercules, one flying from Canberra to Richmond and the other from Nowra to Richmond. Each time the controller in charge of arrivals had a potential emergency on his hands. The closest brush came yesterday when a light aircraft pilot was shocked when a stray plane hurtled past his nose only 300 feet ahead. There was also an incident involving a military plane carrying Treasurer Paul Keating from Canberra to Melbourne on Friday. In airspace deactivated because of the Sydney dispute, the Treasurer's plane went too close to 2 other aircraft.
There's been no let-up in the shelling barrage on Lebanon's Christian sector.
Tonight, a dangerous experiment has devastating consequences as Bruno Lawrence awakes to the quiet earth.
Station 11, paragraph B.
B96121. Hello. My name is Zach.
July. I have now been broadcasting this message for 5 days without reply. Please ignore my previous address, as I am now resident at 5 Rosehill Gardens, Churton Heights. Hop in for a visit or phone 665 058. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Hello, this is Zach Hobson again, 12th of July. I have now been broadcasting this message for 5 days without reply. Please ignore my previous address, as I am now resident at 5 Rosehill Gardens, Churton Heights. Hop in for a visit or phone 66.
Well, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I honestly and sincerely believe that. It is your country's duty as part of the free world to pursue all avenues of technological research that contribute to our position, thus maintaining the balance of power that exists in the world today. Now, I cannot overemphasize this point because you can rest assured that even as I speak, this is what the other side is doing.
What are you trying to do? Destroy them! I'm taking over. Look, I haven't got time to talk to you. I'm a very busy man. Besides, you've had your turn. I have dedicated all my scientific knowledge and skill to projects which I knew could be put to evil purposes. For the common good, they said. How easy to believe in the common good when that belief is rewarded with status, wealth, and power. How hard to believe in the common good when every fiber of my being tells me that the awesome forces I have helped to create have been put into the hands of madmen. I'm being gassed! by the honor of my own corruption! Is it not fitting then that I be president of this quiet earth? I've been condemned to live.
Is brought to you by Colonial.
Hello, coming up in 7 Nightly News, full coverage of Anzac Day commemorations, while in Bendigo, a quiet beer for Australia's oldest digger. Also bargained for, and despite heartless thieves, camp quality children make it to the big match. Details.
This autumn afternoon in Melbourne, Tipper, it seemed as if the crowd almost faced the neck with chanting that we're going to have a quarter.
No longer. And Sheedy just, driving Anzac a bit through to his place here. He's got a side, just a gap. They've got nothing to do here.
Queensland Nationals, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Bingo News Flash.
People. Snoopy, now at McDonald's, and the new album from Red Hot Chili Peppers, California.
Meters along the track. Meanwhile, rail services in the Blue Mountains have returned to normal following this week's Glenbrook Day. It hasn't been heard of since entering the Martian atmosphere last night following an 11-month journey. Monaco penthouse billionaire banker Edmund Safra may have been the victim of the feared Russian mafia.
During the next 24 hours, I think we can expect severe thunderstorms with the possibility of tornadoes right here in the Metroplex. There have already been several sightings and reports of extensive twister damage on the back edge of that storm system.
Austin Powers. The world champions. Elaine Shalanda had no trouble living up to her ranking, and Andy Mapple's sharp cutting gave him the edge over his anti-Barnett.
But all of its government subsidies to cope with recession-caused labour cuts. The Financial Review reports the United States and China have reached a crisis in international fora to overturn the federal government's decision to call them Slav methods. A third round of talks between North and South Korea ends, once again failing to resolve the nuclear stalemate, and Israel turns its anti-terrorist laws against Jews.
This program is part of the ABC's international service, Australia Television.
Welcome to a case that led to a major miscarriage of justice in Thin Blue Line. There's the story of forbidden...
Hi, this is Jason Humphries from Pascoe South, and we've made the switch to the all-new Fox.
It's been so long since I've seen your face. This distance between me and you. That voice you showed me is not the one that I know. I must be strung out on what I use, like you're always alone. Johnny, you're going this way. And I feel that way too. Johnny, hey, double bass. I was going please understand what I do.
No, it's too dark, mate. It's not good on your face. You're innocent.
What am I gonna do?
Elsie? Wow, I didn't think maybe she could rival our oldest listener. Elsie's a bit of an old name, isn't it?
Oh, that's better.
She was actually a young...
Very good. He's going to start calling your girlfriend the suspect and the accused.
Hang on.
You got to know.
Hang on. So probably wondering what and such and such. They probably would, yeah. There you go.
A picture for the film industry here, but local filmmakers are still finding the current environment very challenging. Dynamic duo David Parker and Nadia Tass run their own film studio and have been responsible for directing and producing comedies including Malcolm and The Big Steal. They missed out on the contract to run the studios at Docklands and are less than complimentary about the way Central City Studios have gone about attracting business.
Tony Stacks, how are you?
I go from rags
Tony Cicero.
this Peter Canassi kid. My fate is up to you.
Tootie.
Make it, Tootie.
Tootie ran the cab stand in the Bella Vista Pizzeria.
Join me and Aussie Jones every Saturday at 3:30 for Just Footy.
But coming up next, heaps of fun on California Dreams.
His kids don't care. Donnie also has a new talk show in the works with his sister Marie. His kids still don't care. No, as our Leonard Maltin found out, all his kids care about is the daddies in a Disney film.
Like King Triton, everyone obeys his every command, except his daughter Ariel.
It's too easy. The child is in love with a human, and not any human, a prince.
I have played funny characters, I've played nice characters, I've played touching characters.
In a small lifeboat on the open ocean during a storm, the way the ocean heaves and rolls slowly to suggest tremendous scale and strength and power.
That's what happens. Well, I've had a great time spending the last half hour with you. The Little Mermaid sure is fun. In fact, just telling you about it makes me want to see the whole thing all over again. I'm Melissa Milano, and I hope all your dreams come true.
Under the sea, when the sardines begin giving me its music to me. What do they got? A lot of sand. We got a hot crustacean band. Each little clown here know how to jam here under the sea. Each little slug here cutting a rug here under the sea. Each little snail here know how to whale here. That's why it's hot under the water. Yeah, we in love here down in the muck here under the sea.
Hey, hands off my pickle.
I don't see your name on it, boy.
No, but... Two wrongs don't make a right, Mark. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Dad!
Two wrongs make a right, Lisa.
These other people out of there. But how?
Describe my character, Marge. Well, she has quite a head of hair on her, this woman. I personally think that Marge is a wonderful person. I think that she has very strong, solid ethics and morality and has a great sex life.
Abel's technique is the forerunner of today's motion capture systems.
You know, I was like...
The star, the guy who was really good, was his unicycle that was alive. I saw this and immediately got the idea to take and use this to bookend this clown story. And out of the moodiness of the image, I decided, you know, what I want to do with this is to make a sad ending. Just filmed him. It was so much fun, and I started looking at this and saw how he just would slobber on these toys, and I thought, oh, boy.
On cost-conscious episodic television.
All right, Enzo, you did it. You saved everyone. Are you okay?
From Saturday morning children's cartoons to high-tech sci-fi.
Now the computer is generating the imagery. There is no camera.
Proudly brought to you by Nintendo. This program, proudly brought to you by Nintendo.
And proudly brought to you by McDonald's. And some viewers.
And the magic on the handle making weird science. Oh, things I've never seen before. Behind bolted doors and an unimaginable. My creation, is it real? It's my creation. I know, no hesitation, no heart of gold, just flesh and blood. I do not know, why do I know? From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my
Very nice. We're in trouble, Gary.
Live all day, all night.
We know what you need.
Hang up the phone! Why? What's going on? I don't know. Well, fuck it.
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
It's getting us to the same location, Bleeker and Leroy, mailed a gun, no description, and this caller was a male caller, and I have nothing further. Let's go one more podcast. Okay, that was...
doesn't like nudity at all. That's different. But I don't think anyone can honestly say, oh no, this is terrible. Even when my mother saw it, she said, oh, this isn't bad. You wouldn't mind if we saw some ID to prove it. They didn't believe I was a real police officer. And they said, you know, you're very...
Boy began, I think, primarily as a skin gag. That's what
was taken away, my shield was taken away, and I was suspended without pay, and then I was to face a trial room. They fired me on the catch-all.
Not supportive of what she did.
Coming up next.
In February 1927, London audiences got their first real taste of an Alfred Hitchcock film. But as the director himself liked to recall, the film, and with it his career, was very nearly...
Unfortunately, when the film was finished, the distributors sent down two representatives to view the film, and they came out and said it was awful, and it was a dreadful picture. Well, you know, this is a pretty low ebb to get.
He got all those things.
Along the way...
Extremely complicated.
Genius is at the business of crime. And a joke or two.